from the Republic of Ghana via the Roberts International Airport in the following categories and quantities. Presidential ballots, 3,320,500 ballots. And the FRR for the 2023 presidential and legislative elections will be made available to all political parties, independent candidates, and other stakeholders upon completion of the ongoing process to secure the data. As per the law, a list of precincts was published on 11 September 2023.
Maybe because the government is a candidate in a race, also, that's why some of these people have not been invited to explain the statement that they're making. When you threaten the very existence of the country that you want to be president of, that if you don't win, because their version of unfairness is that they don't win, that if you don't win, then it ends the country as we know it. Such threat, people need to be called to explain those statements. By the National Security Agency, we have to stop playing politics, because like every word we say during this campaign, we are prepared to repeat them on October 11th or the day after the second round and the day after inauguration.
The particular provision of the Civil Aviation Law regulations that were violated as for Section D. The relevant authorities of Liberia, with full respect for human rights and fundamental freedom, clearly identify in their legal and administrative framework the PNR data to be used in their operations.
I don't promise and don't fulfill my promise. Like I said, it was in the United Nations, I will not go turn because I believe in democracy. You will decide to carry someone from our party, of course. I believe in women participation, and you have a vice president that will working with us. And I pray that after our second term, in our third term, the vice president will promote the government so we can bring the woman back.
At the first round, we call for absolute majority of the vote. Meaning you must have 50% plus one. Then you win the first round. Meaning there's no second round. If no candidate obtained absolute majority, 50% plus one in the first round, a second ballot shall be conducted on the second Tuesday following the announcement of the results of the first ballot. Second Tuesday, I will end here. I don't have to go all the way down. Second Tuesday following the announcement of the result of the first round. If you need to plan for elections second round, the time the law telling you need to conduct the second round, do you expect for us to get the money after announcing the results? If we start running the Ministry of Finance, or if we start making preparation, election doesn't work like that.
The masses must be careful in October. I'm seeing all kinds of alligators, cobra, leopard, and lion hiding on the party again. Some of them can take we have picture, they put it here on it. Some of them put Joseph picture, they put it. Some of them put Kumi's picture, put it here. Yeah, you can do it at your own campaign team. But the only reason why I will vote for you cannot be because you Kumi's man or you Weird man or you Joseph man. No, you must show the intellectual competence, that character, and ability to debate the issue. Take, for example, District number 8. District number 8, Mosowara County, is a part of Liberia. This is where you have the executive mansion, the Capitol building, and the Supreme Court. You have the University of Liberia, AMU, and all the other institutions right here. Either they have the university here or they have offices here. This is the intellectual hub of the Republic of Liberia. Bobo cannot represent District number 8.
There's no record of hypocrisy in my activism. There's no record of deception. There's no record of stealing. I have been tested, I've been tried, I've been resilient. You need a leader who will not back down. I'm not interpreting. I believe my story resonates with the people that I'm talking for, I want to lead. I come from a very poor background. Many of the people that are listening to me, they know my story. I struggled to reach at this point. And because of that, they see me as a voice.
Why are they delaying to give us the duplication of cash? Our question to them was, are you buying time to incorporate these duplicated card holders into the voter roll? Because if these people are duplicating the cards, and you say just by submission of that card and the person name a picture on the voter roll, they will vote without taking their value information, then that's the reason why we should suspect a delay. Maybe the delay to why are they delaying to give us the duplication of cash? Our question to them was, are you buying time to incorporate these duplicated card holders into the voter roll? Because if these people are duplicating the cards, and you say just by submission of that card, and the person need a picture on the voter roll, they will vote without taking their value information, then that's the reason why we should suspect a delay. Maybe the delay to
That's serious, man. Come on, a serious man. The best decision they ever taken is left. Come on, the president, maybe won't die or training die. Come on, that's serious, man.
You're saying that it is not possible at all. If that would ever happen, it will happen in utopia.
No.
And utopia is a world that does not exist.
It cannot happen. No, I don't want to correctly say never ever. But it is not in our generation.
Not even in the generation and generation to come. Then it means it's not possible.
Come man, the man cannot concentrate and contemplate. What can he do? That man cannot produce nothing.
I'm concerned about the misdirection of our country.
Say you want to be president. You're not finding food for the people. You're not creating means for the people. You're talking about senator or not senator. I didn't know the people are serious.
And even though they are a bunch of hooligans, bunch of crows. So such people cannot be entrusted with this. They were so good that they are informed like people, they kind of color and they kind of thing they make it up. So you see what is happening now? You see what is happening? That these people, they are serious people, they are bunch of hooligans that just want to take over the country and grab whatever they get and go away.
Democracies are coming to threat for them in 2023. So they are trying to do everything to bring this man down.
But I can guarantee you, I will beat those people just like a little baby. When the election result, they will understand that God got me. I'm saying it again, I was reading in the newspaper, someone said, Liberian people will get Georgia one-term president. And after the election, God will make sure that mouth will be closed. Back there. I'm
one of the proponents in propagating the proper agenda, the PAPD. Then today you say, what are open to offer? You supposed to have been in English?
Are you being supported?
Brother, I'm saying, don't ask me that question. I think the party is on the obligation
to do for you.
Yeah.
But they aren't doing.
You ask me and you want me to be monotonous.
What are they doing for you?
I said, I think the party is on the obligation.
That expression means they aren't, they ought to.
I said, the party is on the obligation.
They are doing it for you directly.
English, man.
You don't want to come straight.
Same Andrew. I don't know what you mean. I said, the party is on the obligation because I'm one of the progenitor.
That is what you get when the hobo, like you rape the hobo with the hobo bambusu, rasmatas politically. He was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is a way of saying the president was fantastic. But his political enemies said he was suffering from what I describe as new mono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Yes, it's a word that is supposed to be called silicosis, meaning a long disease. But in search for the longest word in the dictionary, they pep it up to become a 45-letter word, which is new mono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. What an odium! What an ignominious memento! That even at the barbituration of the so much acclimatized, the same subsidy evacuation and barbituration was condemned by a scrupulous, fastidious, puritanica, boisterous, energetic, and a rooting but today for political somnambulism and malocclusion, reticent, taciturn, uncommunicative, and unforthcoming, meaning he has controlled in their pool.
Don't trouble nothing too much, you know. Mm, I love you. I'm missing you. I want you back. Long time no see. Without your love, I'm lonely. I miss you. And it's too hard to bear. What have you done to me? I'm waking up in the middle of the night without you. And it's so unfair. I toss and turn, reach for you, only my pillows. Sun, awake, the morning, sun rises, but I'm alone. Hurts my soul. 1, 2, 3, I'm loving you. 4, 5, 6, I'm missing you. 7, 9, I want you back.
And we are back this afternoon. Thank you so very much, man. This is Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia, 89.7 Kakata Magibi County. Voice of Liberia, 104.1 Morovia. With me, Sam Andrews, on this 26th day of September. 14 days to October 10th. So we talk the issues. We put the bits and pieces together with just a pause and leave it with you to decide because you are the ones who make the ultimate decision. We are only the conduit, Voice of Liberia and bits and pieces.
Of you and me and how great we used to be. Uh, and I firmly believe the dream of turning all these dreams to reality. And like a child, I would say it's so easy to you. 1, 2, 3, I love you. 4, 5, 6, I miss you. 7, 8, 9, I want you back.
We're back from Monday to Friday. We've got the issues to talk about, but as it is the custom of the show, we find ourselves in the bubbling period of the campaign, the bill up to October 10th. 14 days to go, and the atmosphere is sentimental. Sentiment is rising, and a number of things are taking place, but we've got to be careful with what we say, what we do, so that it doesn't degenerate into what everybody don't want. We've got to be careful. The atmosphere politically and intellectually is volatile right now. The various presidential candidates and the legislative candidates, the stakeholders, those of us on the trench of the field, we are also stakeholders. We also got the responsibility to make sure that the atmosphere doesn't degenerate. Save our society, the media, international and local partners, the presidential legislative candidates, everybody got to be mindful of the atmosphere because it's one that belongs to every one of us. So if it degenerates into something else, it affects everybody. So as you, the presidential candidates and legislative candidates, have been talking to your people, you want to continue doing that. We've got limited time to go. We are approaching injury time, and last minute you can have it not working the way you want. Already, some people are bowing out of the elections for whatever the reason. Well, we just have to keep the atmosphere as cordial, as secure, as non-violent it can be, until October 10th, and October 10th, nothing of such. Beyond October 10th, we all go our separate ways, dust off the election fever, and then come back together. The game is over. Do you see the football match or matches? When the game is over, the referee blows the final whistle to announce the winner of that game. Everybody turns their back. And then after that, they are into the normal flow of interpersonal relationship. They're moving along. It is the same way with politics. Democratically, it is the right of everybody to participate, but everybody can win one seat. But the uniqueness of it, everybody gets in, share their idea, sell their manifesto, keep the atmosphere as safe, as secure, as germane it can be. This is Voice of Liberia caution. Liberia, the people would say, is our common denominator. We've got the world watching, just as we watch other countries go through their electoral transition. So they are watching us too. How we conduct ourselves, what we say, how we say it, will give them an understanding that Liberia is still crawling, even though they boast a lot. So this is our caution. Let us try the best we can to keep the atmosphere as peaceful. So we've got a couple of issues to talk about. And presently, I am told that the university is in a complete haywire. There's protests going on there, and it all started from two campus-based institutions. And the magnitude I cannot say because I was briefed that there is a protest going on, and I can tell you how magnitudinal it is. But I was told that some people got hurt. Um, People ran from their various places into safe havens wherever they can find place that they can feel secure. And the campus is upside down, the University of Liberia. And we can just urge the authorities there to have it under control and remove the cause of the confusion. Look at the cause of the confusion, address it, and so that it doesn't happen. Just so you know, at 2:53, Solomon Chipo is in. He feels that he is the right person. He got everything it takes. He is convinced that on October 10th, the National Elections Commission will announce him or he will win district 18 ballot on October 10th, and he will be announced as the next representative of District 13. He's in very shortly to unfold why he is convinced that he is the next representative. District 13. He wants to oust the current representative candidate, Edward Papi Flomo. He's of the conviction or he's convinced that Edward Papi Flomo hasn't done anything significant and the people doesn't favor him. Rather, the people favor Solomon Chipo, is in. You want to follow that conversation. So, with the situation at the University of Liberia, Dr. Saulo Nelson, you and your team, uh, Vice President for UL Relations, Mr. Twe, you all will have to do everything you can to bring that situation under control. Not only that, not only the temporary stoppage, but you have to erase this stain that is on the university. And I'm not mixing my words here. I say stain on the university, or just to say an omen. Because the university, unlike other universities in this country, the University of Liberia seems to be synonymous with violence, unrest, uneasiness. Not a single, or you can have 2 or 3 months running without something at the University of Liberia. This is not to say that the other universities are perfect. You don't have these things. No, they have their eternal stuff. You get a couple of things, but you don't see and witness protest. If they are protesting, to do it in a manner representative of them as student groups, and then it is worked out with the leadership or the administration. Unlike the University of Liberia, that is known for protest, and it is not the right way. So much so that this whole thing about protest now has taken over the country, has taken over most institutions to the extent that the the demographic that everybody is appealing to in these electoral days to get them October 10th, the young people, they are the ones now who violence is a commonplace for them because over the years they have heard it, they saw, they participated indirectly, they heard expressions. The university is a place of higher education. It's a place of high intellect. It's a place that we opt our intellect. It is not a place that violence is known, or it is known for violence, or it is synonymous to violence. A university with such character, you have people getting discouraged. The only reason, in my opinion, that very many of the people are still moving at the University of Liberia because the country doesn't have many universities. It's all because the country isn't developed like other countries. If this country had universities all over the place, you know what's going to happen to the University of Liberia? Their enrollment was going to drop considerably as it is in other countries. You will find few people moving because people want to go to their clouds to study in a conducive atmosphere. They don't want to move in and then while the lecture is going on, they have this psychological breakdown or they are thinking that something could spark up at any time. Some of the people they want to go to class and they are worried. I hope we're happy on our campus today. I hope we have our classes with no disturbance. In my opinion, that is what have the University of Liberia, the student enrollment stay high. If this country had very many universities around like we see in other countries, the University of Liberia will be practically empty. Not so much because it's reasonable, but what is the reasonability when there is insecurity? What is the reasonability when you cannot have a psychological respite? You can go to class to relax yourself, to say, okay, I have a class at 3 o'clock. So let me go in at 2 o'clock and wait on the campus and begin to refresh myself. And after that, I go to my class. You worry. You worry. I have heard many students at the University of Liberia complain. I've heard them say indirectly that I hope that nothing will happen on that campus today. I won't go for my class. I get 310 with XYZ. But I'm afraid that some kind of riot will open. The University of Liberia leadership and the students have to work on this. The University of Liberia can be named violent prone, violent driven, protest prone university. No, that is not a feature. It is not a characteristic of the university. When you're saying university, you're saying high intellect. You're saying intelligent culture. So you can't stoop so low again. Violence or protest for people whose mind are the Italian would say in Italia would say tabula rasa means completely empty. So such person or people can be tossed to and fro. But when your mind is filled to some degree by the injection of knowledge, Your intellect has increased. So you have you are in a position to develop a good or to show good reasoning ability. You can discern not only between right and wrong, but you also look at the aftermath. But anything short of that and you stoop so low, then there's no need. There's no need. So we hope that you guys will bring that under control. 3 o'clock, Solomon Chipo is in. So you are aware that the National Elections Commission announced the arrival into the country, the ballot papers for the October 10th presidential and legislative elections. They came in, according to the chairman of the National Elections Commission, David Etta Brown Lastana, on Monday, yesterday, the 25th, and they are in a secure state. They are under tight security. Those 3 categories: uh, presidential, yeah, two, presidential, legislative. But the papers are in 3 categories. You have 2 categories: presidential and legislative. But the papers are in 3 categories, the colors. You got senators, representatives, and president. So they are in the country according to law. And the number, the number 3 million plus. So let's listen to her.
Don't trouble nothing too much, you know.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. You want to take over neck boss?
In keeping with our original plan, the National Elections Commission is pleased to announce that ballot papers of the 2023 presidential and legislative elections have arrived in the country. The ballot papers arrived on Monday, 25th September 2023, from the Republic of Ghana via the Robert International Airport in the following categories and quantities: presidential ballots, 3,320,500 ballots. Senatorial ballots, 3,402,122 ballots. Representative ballots, 3,403,208 ballots. The ballots are currently in secure storage under protection of state securities. Let me also inform you that deployment of ballot papers and other sensitive and non-sensitive electoral materials to the 19 magisterial offices in the 15 counties of Liberia for onward distribution to the 28 voting precincts nationwide will commence in a few days' time. I'm also pleased to announce that assorted electoral materials, including ballot boxes, precinct kits, tactile ballot guides, indelible ink, and assorted stationery procured internationally, have also arrived in the country. Packaging of materials for the 5,890 polling places began about 2 weeks ago and is currently ongoing. Distribution of these materials to various county warehouses will commence in the next few days.
So, what about the concern raised by some, if not all, the political parties of their copies of the voter registration? This question was asked at the press briefing today, and this is what she would tell the gathered reporters.
That the FRR for the 2023 presidential and legislative elections will be made available to all political parties, independent candidates, and other stakeholders on completion of the ongoing process to secure the data. As per the law, a list of precincts was published on 11 September 2023. Additionally, to make the process more transparent, as has been done in the past, the final registration roll is encrypted to be pasted at 2080 precincts across the country prior to election day. As you may be aware, elections operations involve the recruitment and deployment of huge numbers of personnel in order to be on schedule for the conduct of the 10th October 2023 general elections. The NEC has recruited 79 electoral district coordinators, 382 electoral supervisors, and 30,812 polling staff. In the meantime, the National Elections Commission training section has concluded training of magisterial staff who are now training electoral district coordinators and electoral supervisors who will then train polling staff across the country. Consistent with commitment to ensuring the participation of all eligible voters, the Commission, in collaboration with partners, has drawn up appropriate strategies to provide civic and voter education for the 2023 general elections. Accordingly, with the assistance of the UNDP Liberia Electoral Support Project, the National Elections Commission established 81 civic and voter education centers across the 73 electoral districts of Liberia that are currently engaged in outreach activities in various communities, including door-to-door and face-to-face campaign at the grassroots level throughout the country. Additionally, considering the relevance of gender mainstreaming in electoral process, the NEC, with support of UN Women, is undertaking a series of gender outreach activities across Liberia. Many other partners and Liberian civil society groups, many of whom have been accredited by NEC, as well as political parties and candidates, are also assisting with voter education efforts for which the NEC is grateful. Meanwhile, in order to facilitate an effective and robust civic and voter education exercise, several educational and awareness materials have been produced and are being distributed nationwide. These include posters, flyers, t-shirts, caps, banners, jingles, and drums, videos of voting steps, and soon to come, videos of tallying steps will be distributed. Additionally, the NEC has entered into memorandum of understanding with some 37 community-based and 7 Monrovia-based radio stations to assist with CVE and media activities. The Commission also launched a number of radio programs to disseminate information about the electoral process and has access to some 30 rural community radio stations through internet.
The chairman of the National Elections Commission, David Eto Brown Lasana, at the Commission's news briefing this morning at the headquarters of the National Elections Commission. So the ballot papers are in, presidential and legislative. The elections will take place on October 10th, 14 days to close a campaign, and the other materials, according to Hall, are in the country. Some are still coming in, but 75 to 80% of the work has been done, and then the stage will be set. Civic and voter education, as you heard her say, 18. They set up 18 civic voter education cells across the country, and 37 community radio stations and 7 Moravia base to assist. assist. Assist me no money. I ain't getting money. I ain't giving the people money. 37 community-based radio station to assist with information dissemination, and like you ain't giving the people money, then about if the radio stations they agree to just do it free for neck, then it bad because neck has money for it. So when you sit on that community-based radio station, you just enter memorandum of understanding and no money, you don't start complaining along the way. I'm telling you now, the boy get money for you. You just sit on there because I'm using the woman word. The word that she used, that what I'm basing on. She say assist to assist. So maybe it's complementary. That means as they do the work, they do their part. So they're complementing each other, probably. A memorandum of understanding can sometimes be devoid of money. Sometimes it involves one party paying for the service and the other party does the work. Sometimes it's just complementary based on the understanding. So when they have something in common, they can just enter an agreement. And 7 Morovia based radio stations. Say, oh, the radio stations in Liberia, okay, well, just take 7. And the 7 we use, and the other people, they're not important. If they want to assist, they can assist. Okay. So, very shortly, Solomon Chipo and his team in. So, the next thing I ought to talk about is what is all over the place. People are giving it their interpretation, whatever the interpretations they can give it. But we say it this way: the country itself nurture what we having now. What we having now, the intellectual and political battle. This politician will say what he feels he can say. The other politician on the other side will counter that with whatever his political or intellectual ballistic missiles. And it's interesting. But we started it. Everybody is complaining right now. Everybody is complaining. And the atmosphere now is shaking. Most people are thinking that something might happen or something could happen. But nothing going to happen. Nothing going to happen like the president will assure. And he needed to have made that clear because he is the leader. Nothing going to happen. But we have to accept what is happening now, what is going through the various missiles that are being thrown at each other, because honestly, we nurture it from the beginning. When it was very small, we overlook it. Everybody was enjoying. Oh, when a certain group talk about this, they say, "Oh no, you're leader, well, the country here, and we are peaceful country, and nobody should go to anybody pass." They were saying the war finished, all kinds of stuff. When a person says there's other one, oh, who are you? You want to do this? You want to be that? Not knowing that they were nurturing and nurturing and nurturing. Now it reached the point where everybody going into everybody past. When people were going into people past, the same people today who are going into people past, they said no, it was wrong. This country, we don't want this, we don't want that. They're now going into each other past. Unity Party going into CDC past, CDC going into ANC past, ANC going into CDC past, MPC going into CDC past, CDC going into LRD past, everybody going into everybody past, bringing everything out. But nothing going to happen. As much as we understand it as the political game, it is an intellectual exercise, but also let us not forget that every time we experience a situation, we never learn lesson from it. But I hope that this one, after this peaceful atmosphere passes by and becomes history, we would then look at the problem now. The problem is not now, in my opinion, from what I observe and know about this country. The problem isn't now. Those of you who see it as problem now, no, it's not a problem. You know the problem that we're going to have. You know the real battle we're going to face after everything is over. Inauguration takes place, reconciliation. That's going to be the most difficult and toughest and Herculean task for the government that will be inaugurated. Whether it's CDC, Unity Party, MPC, ANC slash CPP, that's where the actual headache going to come. You know why? Because right now, it is not only, we're just seeing it from the surface, but it's deeper than what we're saying. The hate is widening by the day. The grudge is growing like a tree, like a mountain. The desegregation or discrimination is piling up. What's going to happen is at the close of everything, when the electoral book is closed, everybody who are throwing ballistic missiles here and there will now start with a new rhetoric, with a new narrative: reconciliation, peace, reconciliation, peace, forgiveness, love. Right now, no, the word love is insignificant. Reconciliation is insignificant. No, it's not in anybody's vocabulary right now. Oh, yes. And it ought not to be because that's elections. All of us understand it's something that happens all over the world. Election is tension driven, but we keep our anger and sentiment down and we move intellectually. But after everything, the reconciliation aspect, there were my thinking age. I'm not so much concerned about what is happening now because that's what comes with elections. That's what comes with elections. If you people have been following elections, not only in Liberia, but around the world, you will know. That's what comes with elections. You have all of these things. Unity Party throwing missiles, saying using those derogative statements, CDC reacting, the other various parties, all of them come with it. It's just like when you're in an office and the managerial, the people who study management, they tell you that the office is tension driven because it is result driven. You want the task to be done. So sometimes you hear some expression. Sometimes the boss will use this expression. The deputy boss will speak this well, where another employee will just try not to cooperate. And sometimes the voices rise up. But at the close of the day, everybody is laughing, moving along. You know why? Because the job has been done. So it is in election. We understand all of these things. The job will be done on October 10th. But beyond October 10th, there what the problem will be. There where my thinking is. How it's going to be. Because the gush is hard. People listen to people as they talk to their friends, as they talk about their friends. Do you think that a man will ever want to befriend, even if he's befriending him again? You think he will ever trust him as a good friend when what he has done and say, you did this, you did that, you did all of those things. So I may say, but I'd rather be myself. I'd rather not do this. I'd rather not hang around with XYZ. I'd rather not do this. And that's the terrible part. That's the most difficult. And there where the president that will be elected, that's the first thing he or she will have to tackle. That's the first thing to get everybody now around the reconciliation table and say, hey, guys, we fought a good fight, though it didn't go in every one of us way. It was a tight fight. We said some things, we did some things, but that's what comes with the game. It's over now. Let's move ahead. We've got a single common denominator, which is this country. How that going to be? And then let's, yeah, uh, Lionel. Lionel campaign manager. Lionel. Everybody descended on Joe Boakai. And they stayed descending on Joe Boakai because Joe Boakai should not have made that statement. We can understand. But he should not have made that statement. Joe Boakai is one of the reputable political figures with high esteem in this country. That, in my opinion, that he will be the last person to be talking those things. But we can understand. Tension runs high. People get over themselves sometimes. But the condemnations so strong. even though he tried to clarify what he meant. But people aren't concerned about the clarification. That's how it is in campaign period. You say some things, you do some things, people will not understand your intent. And so when you attempt to clarify, the clarification will just be insignificant. So he and his people will attempt to clarify, but the clarification, nobody has time for it. The condemnation is still coming. The latest political party to join the condemnation is Lionel True. It's campaign manager Lloyd Scott.
Maybe because the government is a candidate in a race, also, that's why some of these people are not being invited to explain the statements that they're making. When you threaten the very existence of the country that you want to be president of, that if you don't win, because their version of unfairness is that if they don't win, that if you don't win, then it ends the country as we know it. Such threat, people need to be called to explain those statements. At the National Security Agency, we have to stop playing politics because every word we say during this campaign, we are prepared to repeat them on October 11th or the day after the second round and the day after inauguration. Because we stand by them. We're not just going to engage in divisive rhetoric that have no benefit to this country, just for the sake of inflaming the passions of our voters so that we can see Aku you strong, say foolishness, irresponsible things, and then at the end of the day, it goes nowhere. But Emily, and again, I read the statement and I read about the audio. I haven't heard the audio, but a VP Boycott said that. I think VP Boycott needs to explain himself, but even more so, stop. He's trying to act. That's what happens when you engage with certain company. You hang with people who smoke opium all day. Even if you don't smoke, the scent will be on you. Hanging with Prince Johnson, the butcher of our time, the greatest single murderer in the history of Liberia, hanging with that man for him to determine your vice president and having him go out there to even open his mouth to talk about where we are. After, according to the UP and the other people, 26, some would say 30 something, some would say 42. After all of those years of giving you the best opportunity as a public servant, are you telling us that the future of Liberia is one with Prince Johnson determining that future? We have to stop this irresponsible talking. And I respect the VP. Okay, I respect him very well. I never would have thought that the statements attributed to him would have ever come out of VP Podcast campaign.
You're listening to Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1. Morovia, Voice of Liberia 89.7, Kakatamagedi County. Our online radio, www.voiceofliberiaradio.com. Facebook with keywords, Voice of Liberia. Sam Andrews, you want to have your say now on any one of the talking points before we can turn to our guest, Solomon Chipo, District Titan, Moserado County, confident of becoming the next representative of District Titan with the support or the conviction given what he has done over the years. 0770 907 907 0880 907 907. Have your say on any one of the talking points we talk about before we can turn to our guests. 0770 907 907 0880 907 907. And you will be live on Voice of Liberia 104.1, Morovia Voice of Liberia 89.7. Good afternoon.
Hello, my brother.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Hello?
Yeah, you are on the air. We are listening to you.
I'm calling from the Bonaparte.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, we're hearing the news, people is circulating what Joseph Parker said. You know what I want to tell you, my brother? The country here, the way we think and the way we manage the party, that's what Kevin the country behind. He will not sit down and say, if you now win this election, then it means that the country will be finished. It's not why he's there.
Okay, Chief. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, you are on. What is your name and where are you phoning in from?
My name is James Ifeanyi and I'm calling from a documented resident.
Let's hear you.
You know, I was taken aback by Prince Johnson, the so-called would-be vice president wanting to be president. Mr. Joe Buckeye, saying that anything outside of him winning, that bro is finished. You know, it's like he's a child now because such an utterance for a man like Joseph Buckeye who have worked out of his life in government, telling us that he's coming to rescue where he want to rest.
Okay, Chief.
Telling
Thank
like,
you so much. Good afternoon. You want to
hello?
cut off your radio or move away from it? Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And you?
Oh, I'm good. My name is Rankin Kamar, calling from Jarastan. Hello?
Let's hear you. You are on the air.
Okay. The statement from the former vice president, that statement was so childish and reckless. And I even expect anyone to be passing around say they defending the former vice president. The former vice president said it clear and everybody listened to it that if anything happened to the election, Liberia will come to an end. Who are he to end Liberia?
Okay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Yes, sir. You are on Voice of Liberia 104.1 and 89.7 Kakata Magibi County.
Okay, thank you. This is the people who are calling member United Man Battery. The statement from the former vice president Jota Yimwaga is there bad because he heard Potipoti making a statement about, of course, they will fight with their sweat and blood to win the election. Why is it mean? So there's a reason to win, make a statement to as a driver, you're in a seat, the driving seat, you are the state major of Liberia of Portugal now. Then you make that a statement in
So
a very
if somebody kills, it is a justification for you to kill to or do something wrong and use another person's wrong as justification.
You are in the driving seat and when you make a statement, you have to be very careful.
All right, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Clinton Abraham Sele. I'm calling from up Beverly Hills, Basel Community, Kakata City.
Let's
Hello?
hear you. Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, let me say thank you for the discussion. Even though I followed Lake Debo, I think I got us some clue. Quite friendly, like the conversation that was just going on, I think it was the last speaker before you start taking call. You know, the Bible said that evil communication corrupts good manners. You see that? So, like, the vice president, who he has served, and people are, holding in high esteem to have making such statement and saying that would be the end of Liberia, and people want to interpret it a different way. But I think to you people, the radio station or the journalists, please bring people like security experts or people who can analyze those statements, most especially the security expert. Let it tell us what again, and what's the interpretation of that statement when it comes to the security sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Have a nice
Hello?
afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, first, thank you for the program. Detail, we're calling from District 17. Well, for me, I believe that the statement made by the former vice president and that of Prince Johnson is not necessary. We are seeking peace. If you speak in a peaceful manner, there's a possibility that he could win this election. Why if the ruling party come out and say they will not agree? So you see, he has created a problem. He has created a serious problem. And trust me, if he even win the election, clearly the ruling party will come out to resist and refuse the result because Bwaka have already started saying it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much for calling. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for spicing up the first lap of the show, Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 89.7 Kakata Magibi County, Voice of Liberia 104.1 Morovia with me, Sam Andrews. My guest is in, and he got a lot more on his plate to talk about as he has positioned himself to win the district seat. He is Solomon Chipo, District 18 representative candidate who wants to oust the incumbent Edward Papi Flomo or Representative Edward Papi Flomo to talk about his representative bid. Thank you ever so much, Mr. Chipo, for accepting my invite to come, and can appreciate you the more having you in Voice of Liberia 104.1 and Voice of Liberia 89.7 Kakata Magibi County.
Thank you, Sam, for having me. I'm glad to be here.
How is it within your domain, District 13, in terms of your preparation? It's not about why you want to contest. You have already made that decision. If you didn't have a reason, you wouldn't be in the race. So, what is the preparation like moving into October 10th and vis a vis the legislature?
Well, thank you, Sam. That's a very good question. Firstly, let me say a big thank you to the station for inviting me and to the people of District 13. We are here today to provide some clarity on some major issues that are affecting our district. Um, as we are going to the election, Team Chipo, which I am the political leader of, remain optimistic in ensuring that District 13 becomes liberated. All of the necessary works have been going on for over 3 years and a half now. So the name Solomon Chipo has resonated already, and if you were to do if you were to watch our last launching, you will see the number of people that turn in to grace the application. So we remain committed in providing some of the services that we want to provide for the people of District 13, like my vocational school that I have, which is the biggest in District 13. A lot of people ask me, Mr. Chibo, is that a vocational school going to continue after the election? And my answer is yes. So I believe in education. So education has been one of the things that I've been heavily focused on in District 13. Academic scholarships and vocational scholarship. The vocational scholarship, I've been personally in charge of that because it is very important for our people to get the necessary vocational training that they need so that they can be generating some income while they are fighting towards bettering their lives.
Is that all you got on the ground?
Oh no. Well, on the issue of advocacy, we have been in the vanguard, as you may be aware. The issue of security, the safety and security of the people of District 13, and even Liberia as a whole remains an issue. We heard people saying people should be in security for themselves and things like that. So in my district, and it's connected to drugs. So a lot of our young people in District 13 are affected by drug abuse. So we are trying our best. There is a rehabilitation center in Battery Factory. I've tried my best to work with them, send some people there personally, and provide some assistance. That vocational, I mean, that rehabilitation center is not owned by me, it's owned by a church in Battery Factory. So the issue of drug abuse, the issue of drug trafficking, the issue of the safety and security of the people of District 13, the issue of lack of accountability on the part on the office of the representative, and a lot of other issues. The representative of District 13, one of the major things that I have a personal problem with is because he has made no position clear on anything that has to do with safety and security issue, and also most importantly on the issue of drug abuse. I think we as stakeholders of District 13 have to work together to ensure that we can address the issue of drug abuse so that our brothers can be put somewhere where they can be rehabilitated. And we have to be strong now that the drug law has been passed, but the implementation is still an issue. I think as a sitting representative of District 13, a lot of a lot of things should have been said about the issue of drug trafficking in District 13. We have not heard anything from the current office of the representative, and we are saying he has to say something. He has to speak about the issue to be taken care of by our law enforcement authorities. On the issue of general support for those line agencies like the DEA and the police that are there working to make sure that we all collaborate in the fight against drugs. I'm asking the government to provide more logistics and funding to the police, to the DEA people in District 13 because drug abuse and drug trafficking has become the order of the day.
How widespread it is, and what is the impact it is having or have had and continue to have on the population?
The issue of drug abuse and drug trafficking has had an adverse effect on the livelihood of the people of District 13. Number one, we are not safe anymore. When people take in drugs, they misbehave, they carry on criminal activities in our district. Uh, uh, Armed robbery is rampant in District 13, and we only have two major police stations. we are thinking asking central government to ensure that in one of the biggest community in my district, which is Chocolate City, there is no police station there. We need to try to increase the law enforcement presence in District 13 so that, as you may be aware, the presence of the police, the presence of law enforcement agencies can, in a way, deter a crime. So a lot needs to be done. I think, like I said earlier, we have to focus on increasing the budget of the DEA and making sure that those people who are supposed to be implementing the law are fully taken care of so that they can be dedicated to doing their job. In District 13, I've been advocating for an act that will classify all law enforcement agencies as specialized agencies. In that law, the concept is you have people working who are supposed to implement the law. You have people in different, like the DEA, like the Coast Guard, like the immigration, police, the armed forces of Liberia. All of those law enforcement personnel, they have to be taken care of if we want them to be able to do their respective jobs. In our country, police is underpaid. Most of the security institutions are underpaid. We need to start talking about increasing the salary, providing the necessary gear and logistics that will make them to feel that yes, they are doing a piece of job. If you have a police station like the Toko Village Depot, I think there's only one person there that has a weapon. If there is an armed robbery going on down in one of the communities, what can one person do to help deter or to prevent or save the lives of people who have been attacked? So you guys are journalists. I'm asking for you to really take your time to go down there and do comprehensive research on the issue and see whether what I'm saying here today is true.
So you have inserted do these two serious concerns in your manifesto. When you get to the legislature, you want to lay out your priority. What will be your priority or are your priorities when you are in the legislature?
Like I said, number one, the issue of drugs remains.
That will be the
That
first.
would be the first.
And how you going to get it off the ground in the legislature? Assume that you are there now.
Well, I think going at the legislature requires in this modern time that we're in, we have the issue of people who are not able to represent us. And in our present case in District 13, I think when I get to the table, I have a lot of, I have a lot to offer that will make me a very sweet a very sweet person to interact with my peers, because everybody say, oh, when you get down there, it's party politics, and there's a lot of people on one side from one party. They are in numbers. They're not going to listen to you. But trust me, that which we are going to be advocating for, we're going to make the case. We're going to have to advocate consistently. We're going to have to fight. We got to inform the Liberian people who are electing those people to tell them that, hey, we want to do these things, but these people are not joining us to make it happen. If they are going to the optimism would be that when we propose a very good law, we'll have well-meaning Liberians in the House that will say, oh, yeah, it makes sense. That's the reason why they are there. So if they are there and they are not doing their job, it's not going to be easy there. It's going to be a fight, because we stand ready to engage them and inform the Liberian people consistently on these things that we want to do. If something that we want to do is in the interest of the Liberian people, and we have people there who are being elected by those same Liberian people and they are not cooperating with us, we will take our time to massively inform the country to let them know that these people that you are electing, they don't mean well for you. If it's a special campaign that we have to do, then we're going to have to do it. But I think that's one way to get things done, because we already know party politics in Liberia has become something that is a barrier for many, many development in our country.
So you got a very good ambition. Your manifesto is clear. You talk about drug, you talk about scholarship, education, and that's two. What are the others? I want you to list the balance three. I know you have a couple of them, but the ones that you will be doing immediately so that the people know and say, Chipo said he will deal with the drugs, he will start with education, we're seeing them off the ground.
Yes, I think also another thing that we have to do is to focus on the issue of justice and equal rights. I think if we do a comprehensive review of why we went to war as a country, you will find out that because people violated the rights of others, and that's, those are things that have led to where we are today, post-war. District 13 specifically, when we take over, I'm going to establish the Legal Aid Services Office for the people of District 13. In District 13, during my time there, many people have come to me to ask me to help them to represent through my father's law firm, the Chipo law firm, to advocate because they don't have money. Some of them have been arrested and taken to the depots. They say they don't have money to fight for their kids. Somebody want to take your land. You don't have money to advocate, and that person will just go ahead and take it. That animosity that is created in the hearts of the people over the years, it turns to hatred. So that's the reason why, for example, if you hear in District 13 somebody just died the other day, I personally had to rescue that person, but that person still did not live. It was a mistake. Even somebody said row row, and then everybody came from nowhere. Angry people just came from nowhere, and then used sticks and rocks and literally killed that guy. And I was driving in the car. I had to stop to go there and beg them to leave that person. We put that person in a keke and we took them to the police station. The police took them to the nearest to the hospital, and that fellow died. Do you know why that happened? Because people are angry. Because people have been stepping on people's rights for so long. Only in Liberia, where you have people who have committed crimes, they are the main beneficiary of government. It has to change. It has to change. They are passing around here happily and enjoying themselves with impunity. We have to do something about that. So my legal aid office that I'm going to create right now, we are providing legal aid services through the Chipo law firm at my where you visited at my headquarters at the Iron Factory office there, and but we want to expand that to make it like the District 13 Legal Aid Service Office. We know normally we'll provide the general support to central government for Ministry of Justice, for the judiciary, we'll advocate for increased budgetary allocation and things like that. But personally, I think it is, as somebody who comes from a law enforcement background, I take it to be a personal responsibility for me to focus on the issue of equal rights and justice, not only in District 13, but our country at large. So that legal aid service office will be something that will provide assistance, will be sponsored by the Office of Representative for our people in District 13. If we see how things are looking, we might be able to expand for the people of Mosorado County. So that's another thing that I want to focus on, the issue of justice and equal rights. Also, we want to focus on healthcare. In District 13, most specifically, the community called Plainfield Battery Factory is kind of linked to Slipway down the hole here. We have had series of death from our women in District 13, not only that community, but most especially that community, where because there is no good road, they are only planks. When they want to have birth, they have to put them in a canoe to cross them from Battery Factory Plainfield through the swamp to come right here to Slipway. 3 ladies have died in that. So one of them, I even know them personally from that community. I think we have to do something about the pregnant women in District 30. So we're going to use our lobbyistic power to engage our international partners. And as you may be aware, I'm a member of the Sergeants Association of the United States of America. So I have
what is that?
It's people who have served in the United States military. I resigned as a sergeant before.
What your duration of service?
My duration was 2014 to 2018.
And what specifically were your responsibilities?
Oh, I was in charge for human resources. I was in charge of men, battalion training of personnel. That's what I was specifically involved with.
So when you retired or you resigned,
yes,
and then you opted to come to Liberia.
I already came from Liberia in 2013. I was in my 30s before I won the diversity visa thing to go to the United States. As of when I got there, I became a permanent resident. George Bush Executive Order of 2001 provided opportunity for people who have permanent residency in the United States to serve in the military, and you will get a lot of benefit. Free education, for example. I have 3 masters. It's because of that. So I joined, and I'll be able to send for people, help people, do whatever I can do. Get 10% on anything I want to purchase in our country. I get first preference to get on a plane if I'm traveling anywhere, things like that. Those things attracted me because I've never been had opportunity before back home. So I joined to serve so that I can get their benefits, and I got that. So I was there for a specific period of time, and I had a plan on what I wanted to do. My plan was to serve, use their benefit to educate myself, and prepare myself for future leadership in my country.
Do you understand where you are headed or where you want to go? The legislature.
Yes.
You want to give your audience a rough understanding.
Thank you. Well, I think the 17 candidates in District 13, if you were to do a comprehensive review of their profile, you will find out that I Solomon people I am better suited for for going to represent the people of District 13 because I have a strong criminal justice background. That's one. I also have a strong background in homeland security. I have a strong military background, and I was a law clerk for the Chipo Law Firm for over 8 years before traveling to the States. I graduated from the AME University with my bachelor degree in public administration, minor in political science. I was Secretary General of the Progressive People's Party, the second party that have created the opportunity for multi-party democracy in Liberia that people can dance now, buka dance. If you are Flomo, if you are Johnson, or if you get some kind of Auckland name from the interior, now you can be anything you want to be. I was indoctrinated by a man called Chia Chipo, former Chief Justice, who happens to be my father, former Chief Justice, former Attorney General, former Senator, and former Minister of Justice. I was a law clerk with him for 8 years. So after I left there, I worked on a Mirabro as a CBE facilitator for administration at the Montreal City Corporation after I graduated from AMU University. And I went to the States again. All of the areas that you see that I have associated myself with has to do with law, has to do with legal issues, has to do with implementation of justice. If you were to look at my last position, I was a sergeant implementing military regulations. And then
So, what is your understanding of the legislature? How it works?
the legislature, the function
Because
of a representative, let's start with the function of representative first.
if you go into an institution, you
Mhm.
should have a preview. You should
Yes.
have a full knowledge.
Yeah. One of the functions of a representative is lawmaking. I think on the issue of lawmaking, I am well posted to be able to review existing laws that we have on the books that I might want to change if there are things that need to be changed. For example, corporate social responsibility in Liberia is something in my district, company called Smenco. They have been giving back to the few communities that are right beside the manufacturing plant on what they feel like giving. There is no strict requirement requiring them to provide certain things to say if you are giving back to the people, it has to be within this threshold. I am thinking about proposing that law, which will be one of the reasons why I'm going there. Like I mentioned earlier, we have many other laws. I'm not going to disclose everything here that we want to push for. Push for. For example, the issue of classifying all the law enforcement agencies as specialized agencies. Not only will they have increased increment in um, uh, budgetary allocation for salaries, but they also have logistics. They will also have perks. In Liberia, you don't give perks to people. Perks will be something where you get for example, like a slip that value at $80. If you're a policeman, you never used to get that. Your back arrest, I shouldn't forget about that. That should be regular. Right now, only certain people are the LMP that receives rights from the higher up. The regular man who's actually doing the job in the street does not get a back arrest at the end of the month. I'm just saying those things that we need to put in place that will be practical so that our people can be able to do their job. If a policeman receives a better pay, if a policeman receives a better logistics, if a policeman get extra perks where he and his wife after, at the end of the month can take that $80 slip and go to a supermarket and say and pick anything they want, soap, tar soap, or whatever to make their household run. And if you can get the necessary training internationally that will send people around, that's job creation coming right there. The capacity of the armed forces of Liberia is like 2,000 plus people. We have 5.7 million people. Can 2,000 people take care of 5.7 million people? If any other country want to take over Liberia now, it would be easy for them to do. So we are joking here. We need to increase the capacity of our law enforcement agencies if we want to implement the law and if they are the arm that are responsible to enforce the law. Those are some of the things I will be going in our house for. I will be one of the fearless and outspoken leadership. I'm on record in District 13 for being the one that has spoken truth to power in the face. I don't just come to radio all the time. That's why I'm well known in District 13 because I deal with the people themselves directly every day. I understand their problem because I'm living there with them and I focus on addressing their problem while I'm there instead of just talking. When it's time to talk, we will talk. But we have to understand what the challenges that our people are facing and how to address them. So when I get elected, I will be the voice for District 13. I will speak on their behalf. Will make the argument, we'll make the case for why it is important for the budget when we are passing it to include something for District 13. Currently, nobody is there to speak for District 13. When we are talking about nobody invites the honorable in District 13 does not invite the Minister of Public Works beforehand when the budget preparation process is going on. No consultations are held to ask him, hey, do we have anything there for District 13? Or to make that recommendation. So my going to the House will be.
But if he didn't do, why haven't you people who are opinion leaders in the district call him, bring it to his attention, since you people are knowledgeable? So that would have been done because it's significant for the district.
We have been bringing it to his attention. The current representative in Liberia, let's be practical here. Most times the people who are represented, they don't have the time to talk to people who are going against them. Most times they look at the people who they are going against as enemies. In a specific case, the current representative of District 13 has personally incited people to go and disrupt my program and all. Is that the kind of man that will sit down with me to discuss that type of
We'll
thing?
get to that.
We'll get to
Stick
that.
to that.
Okay, but what I'm saying here is we have a responsibility to flag our issues. We have a responsibility to say when people who are in power we do not see the change that is required. We do not see the difference when you are in position. Then we are saying we stand a better chance when we get elected to do it because we have been pushing for things while we are not elected yet. In District 13, when the president doing his talk, I was the one. I don't know if you heard people were labeling me as a representative aspirant, disrupt presidential protocol. I'm that person.
And you did?
No, I did not.
You didn't?
No, the president gave go ahead because he knew who I was. He gave the go ahead to the moderator.
President knows you.
To speak. All he did was to ring praises on the president for things that happened in Lofa and to provide lies about things that he said he did, like give Maki Women $50 million and things like that. That's not the reason why the president came there. The president came there because he needed to hear some of the problems that still exist in this. He can help take care of if we are to vote for him for the second time. And I think that was a very, very respectful request. They did not want me as a stakeholder, as a representative aspirant, as somebody who's going to vote too. I'm going to vote. I will have to vote for a president. The current representative incited the MC. He got up from his seat to say, don't let Mr. Chico talk. So I knew that there was some kind of hidden agenda about something that they did not want the president to know about. So I used my militant voice and I used my military voice. Remember, I was in charge of men. When I'm ready to draw attention, there is a way to speak. There is a sound to make. And people who are not paying attention, they will pay attention. And that's exactly what I did. And when the president saw me, I told him, Mr. President, we are stakeholders here. I'm Solomon Chico. And I am.
So how did you get to the podium? Did you get to the podium or you talked to Mike?
No, I did not. It's not possible. Let's be realistic. That place is full of security people. No one person would just go and disrupt the whole thing and nobody would say anything to stop you. No, I stood up in opposition and I made my voice heard from where the president was sitting. He wasn't sitting far away from me. And I told him, Mr. President, I'm Solomon Chipo. When he heard that name, he knew what that Chipo name. Chipo name is a hustle name in Liberia. And I told him that I'm representative, aspiring, and independent candidate. There are many, many issues. If we have to vote for you for the second term, you need to hear this. This is not enemy shit. I don't have to be in your party to support you, but we can disagree to agree. At the end of the day, Mama Liberia first. And the president told the MC, y'all let Chipo talk. And that's how I marched to the stage and I received the microphone to speak. If you were to watch the video, it's on Facebook. You should be able to check it out and see.
I know about it.
Yeah.
Your brother came to me to make clarification
Okay.
because he had earlier said people were taking him to be the person who disrupted the president's
No, we are two
program.
different people. Who have somebody who take him to be who I'm Solomon Chipo. I'm the only one holding Chipo legacy here. I'm the only one. None of my relatives are interested
So
in
that's
politics.
how it went.
Yeah, but
Can you come out of that number? You have a clouded field, or you people have a clouded field in District 13. Can you emerge victorious when you got a couple of heavyweights there, Cornelia Crowd, the current representative, and the other guys?
I'm not worried about those people. They are not. Those are people who only pull crowd because they have a presidential candidate along with them. Most of the people that go to their function are there because they are there to see their presidential candidate. As you may be aware, in Liberia now, the issue of voting for representative has been there has been a talk where vote, and that's one of my campaign message. Vote for any president you want to vote for. Vote for any senator you want to vote for. For District 13, you need to check us. You need to make sure we put the right person there. Somebody that will speak against drugs, which is not good for our community. Somebody that will be able to be outspoken on issues, both the district issues and national issues. Somebody that will be able to look in the face of power and speak truth to them, not because they are in that party, but because it is the right thing to do. That's the message we are giving them. And the people of District 13, if you were to check my launching, you will see I didn't care. I didn't invite anybody. I alone, single-handedly, were able to pull the necessary crowd to make them afraid. That they even send people there. They send people with cutlass to Iron Factory Field to disrupt my program.
Yeah, I heard that, and you will talk about it. But can you come out of that crowd, that crowded field? Can Solomon Chipo win that district in the midst of those strong political heavyweights?
The answer is definitely yes. Because right now in District 13, you cannot rule Solomon Chico out of the district politics. If you were to count 3 persons, I will be second, apart from the current representative there. If you were to count all of us and say, let's look at the 3 biggest persons, the 3 biggest candidates, rather, Solomon Chico will emerge. There's no way you can discuss it without Solomon Chico right now, the place it has reached, because everybody knows what I stand for. Everybody saw the heroism that I exhibited when the president came there. Everybody know when we get down there will not be no hanky-panky there. We will be able to stand and make the case for the district. We are talking about proper representation. One of the functions of a representative when you go there is lawmaking. If you want to propose a law, you think somebody who does not have no theoretical experience, has not read anything, has not prepared no long document, they cannot digest anything, they're going to be able to say anything for more than 20, 25 minutes or 1 hour to discuss any issue. They are not going to be able to do it. Let's be serious. We believe in education. People are there telling people, oh, everybody need to learn. No, all of us in our weak way, we're able to learn, we should learn. And
when you get there, you wouldn't be Bobo lawmaker?
No, I would not. I would not. Everybody know I've made my case already. Because if you're president, if you're whoever, I have demonstrated to the people of District 13 that no matter what, I can tell you what you need to hear. If you've done the right thing, I will say the right thing. If you've done the wrong thing, I will tell you.
But you will be a soft, if not compromising voice because of the dialogues.
No, I already have something to rely on for the rest of my life. I'm pensioned.
But you're not a rich person. You need money.
No. In Liberia, if you get $1,000 US for the rest of your life, you're okay. Your family will be set. 1,000 US every month for the rest of your life. I get more than that for the rest of my life.
But you're expending and you're not generating.
I'm not going to. I have a company. I have a logistic company, $200,000 investment that I made in District 13. When I resigned from the army, my money that I got brought it back to my country. That's the kind of leadership we're talking about. I've been employing people there.
So money wouldn't influence you at the legislature?
No. I've seen many, many things. It's not only money. Let me just interject. money is not the only thing that make people to change when they get down there. It's also lack of opportunities. Some of them became representatives. They have traveled nowhere. They are saying nothing, so they have to please whoever that's making people to be part of oversight committees. They have to please them and write to their party proposal. If
But
I get there, if
almost
I get there,
every one of the people going to the legislature or want to go to the legislature because of the capital, the money,
how much is
what they hear on a daily basis,
no?
coupled with the travels and lucrative committees.
I'm not rich, but let's see something. Look at my situation. I started advocacy in District 13 since 2019 for the COVID days, right? Nose masks, hand sanitizers, uh, buckets, and giving money to the rice and food to the people, to the checkpoint for every community that goes in there through my advocacy for corporate social responsibility. The current representative in District 13 got to power through a by-election. All he had to do was to dish money around in 3 months so that the election commission can have that election for that person. I have been spending money since 2019. Remember, there was no campaign at that time. There was no election at that time. So if you make yourself to be known by the people early that you are here to liberate them, they are going to come to you in numbers. And they have been doing that to me for over 3 years and a half.
Have
And we
you
are still strong.
have you crisscrossed the various locales or communities constituting District 13? Have you gone across
Yes.
with your message?
Yes, I've gone across, and my team has been very effective going around. And there are a few places, that we still need to go and make our presence felt. But yes, I think
What are those areas?
overall, like behind New Jersey Gulf area, it's very big. It's a very, very big place. So we have been trying our best. That's where my office manager lives. We have been trying our best to set up more teams in the different corners of that community to make sure that we have our presence felt and do some community work. There is an organization now that we're working with there. We have a majority of the people that live in that community. They are part of that organization.
You've gone into the current representative strongholds.
Yes.
You campaign there.
Yesterday I was awarded. Yesterday I was honored. Right to
His stronghold.
His stronghold. His battery factory where he lives. They only leave from there and come to Solomon Chipu for help. And it's not something to brag.
What was the reception?
Yesterday was a church.
And the reason I'm asking, because a person's stronghold, you expect that moving there, the reception will not be as cordial. You expect, if not a hostile, but people will fan off because that's their main area. So they wouldn't want to give you that kind of reception. So how was it?
They are tired with it, man. When people, if you live in the community, before I answer that, let me get to what happened to Nigeria Sharp community where Cornelia Gra lives. There is a Pella group there, very notable Pella group. They have endorsed me. I'm talking about 600, a group of 600 persons. I am the only one they agreed to endorse. There is a representative candidate that lives right beside them. They have their meeting. They did not pick her. They picked me. In Battery Factory, every day I'm almost there. The vice chairman for mobilization and recruitment, and also our campaign manager. He is a former stalwart from the office of the current representative. He was a special assistant to him, but he resigned from that position because a lot of different arguments and stuff were going on, which we are not here to talk about now. But this guy is the campaign chairman for me now. Battery Factory listens to him. He's known as the masses leader, and he's on our side. So he has made me more popular in Battery Factory. Every other day, we will be having something in Battery Factory. We have been working there since 2018, 2019, up to now. So trust me, I don't care even if everybody hits you in some kind of area because somebody was there that they supported. The point here is if they support somebody before and the expectations and things that they expected to happen is not happening. For example, on the issue of drugs, everybody know the current representative is the most accused person.
So what will get you to the legislature of all of your manifesto counts? What you think or what you convinced of that will get you to the legislature?
Number one, on the issue of the safety and security of the people at District 13. They know I'm the most I'm the well prepared.
So that's the most challenge. That's the person challenge they are faced with.
Yes, because you can provide everything. You can provide development. You can do everything. But if the people who are supposed to enjoy that development, if they are not safe, it defeats the purpose. So security in District 13 will be priority number one for me. The people of District 13 are living in fear because it's connected to the issue of drugs. When our brothers take their drugs and they become hostile and they start doing criminal things, they're going behind people's houses in the day, taking their parts and their slippers and their everything. Nobody leaves slippers out in District 13 anymore or parts.
What happened at your lunch? I heard that it didn't go as you people had planned. What happened?
Well, the lunch was okay. But what happened is we had a group of hooligans that came to disrupt our the setup. So I was at the office getting ready, waiting because we agreed that all of our supporters would meet at Total at Freeport, and we will march from there to go towards New Georgia Junction, turn around and come back to Iron Factory to have the program. So there were some people on the Iron Factory field setting up the canopies and stuff like that, while a majority of the people were sent to Freeport. When they are ready, they will call me and I will He is none of that. The current representative of District 13 is none of the things that I just mentioned. And I think it's a joke for us to have somebody, a seated representative, who is the most accused person on a menace like drug trafficking. You know, in our district, there are three major things that happen there. Number one, the current representative there is the most accused person every time. When we talk about drug business in District 13, his name pop up. Anywhere you see small smoke, fire there. That one. 200 million in drugs was found.
It's like this somebody can use another person's name to
they can't say
accomplish
Solomon
it.
Chipo? Okay, why they can't say Solomon Chipo? Because why they can't say Solomon Chipo? Why they can't say Cornelia Crack on drugs?
So that's what you guys campaigning on.
Because the issue of drug is a very, very big disaster for our country. Do you know, as recent studies show, that West Africa is becoming an open road now for the transfer of drugs in other parts of Africa?
He has initiated developments apart from the drugs. He has initiated tangible developments in the district, hasn't he?
No, he say he opening water kiosks. He has worked against the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation from receiving increased budgetary allocation to do their job, which they have the statutory responsibility to do. See, these are the things that we're talking about. Government agencies should be given the necessary budgetary allocations to be able to do their job. But when we have people personally stopping electricity from coming to a specific community, only to wait when election coming, and then they go to MC.
You got electricity there now. He
Now,
initiated.
No, we don't
He
have-
didn't.
The community that went to the community of Blackie Island that went to protest to his place, they don't have electricity now because you see this. The people in our entire community are not supporters. They are right beside the community and from Topo Village. They don't have electricity. Even Topo Village, we don't have. They don't. Lately, the someone that we had before he came to power, he went and took it. This is what we're talking about, abuse of power. Now. Representative go take transformer. He LEC man. You go personally go there, self standing there, take transformer, disappear with it. I had to go on radio to make noise that the man took our transformer and he won't correct into Topo Village because he knew that I'm there. I cannot go to LEC and say anything for them to listen to me because I'm going against the people who appointed them. So all of the
he electrified most parts of District 13.
Is that his responsibility? What is the function of a representative? To go pay road or to make sure that public work do the job that it's supposed to do? Or to make sure LEC receive enough budget? Oh no, you just go do it for yourself. Or you go, your party talk to the people, they give you free lights, you go, you put it up to get personal glory for the people to vote for you.
What is the free light?
The free like Chinese light. We all give Chinese light up. I myself give Chinese.
How is it like?
It's like a solar light that you carry and put on a stick.
You nail it on the pole?
Yeah, you nail it on the pole, and when the sun shines on it, and then it gets bright. We cannot attribute any development that has to do with road, any development that has to do with electricity to personal representative. It is not a function of a representative. The function of a representative that you were asking me before is to make sure that those land ministries get investigated when the budget, when they submit their budget proposal, what they want for, where they want going, how is it going to be spent, what you're going to do with it. When we cross-reference it, we make sure that everything there looks fine. Then we give them the amount that they need to do their job. It will not be glory coming to representative. That's not what we're going to be doing. When I take over, LEC is going to do its job. Because if it costs for us to call LEC over and over to ask them why they are not doing a feasibility study in my community or my district for LEC, those are the things that we're going to be doing. We will not have to allow a political party. Do you know that representatives from certain political parties in Liberia receive transformer? Well, we know it coming from whether that LEC transformer that were in the well, they give to them to use it as a political weapon against other people who are going against them. That's intruding. That's abuse of power. That's another crime there. We're going to investigate that after the new government take over. If we catch you, you are there and you are not elected again. The person that did that, you will be brought to the law.
If you didn't win on October 10th, what will Solomon Chipo be?
I'm going to win. So
if you didn't win,
I am going to win. I am going to win. The chances of me not winning is very, very, very. It's like 0.10 something. Yeah. And there's.
And what's the percentage of your win?
99 plus. 99 plus. Because in District 13, I am the reason why the people want change. Because they see true leadership in me. because they see that I have been preparing for this position for over 30 years. I have been working with people who have been in the field of lawmaking, people who have been advocating for change, speaking for people's rights for many, many years. I have been a cadet to those people. So I stand in a better position to be able to reflect on some of the things that I've learned to put them into action. The position of representative is not just something that you can brag about, but it is based on series of experiences, series of professional engagements. Say, for example, if the mayor of New York City were to pay a visit to Liberia, what kind of representative where he go to no school, why he come and tell the man? If the man come to visit District 13, for example, what can he tell him? What kind of issue? Because in Liberia say, oh, our education, the thing ain't got nothing to do with both. Okay, but if that man tell you, say, based upon specific parameters, you represent it, why you ain't go to nobody's school? You didn't even know what they call parameters. So how you going to respond? That's number one. In District 13, among the 17 candidates, I am the most educated. On the issue of conducting research at the level of lawmaking, I will have the patience to look at a 500-page document or a 100-page document at home with my glasses to go page by page to see the changes that need to be put there. Now, like what happened to Firestone? That the 9-year contract that you signed.
Saying it buoyantly it sounds so sweet, but in practice, in action,
I'm different. I've been prepared by the best. I've been prepared by one of the high-headed person in this country, Chair Chico. He never allowed me to go work there with law firm for almost 8-9 years. Legal documents, Supreme Court, that whole judiciary there. Then
So-
from there, Mary Bro, principle mindedness, integrity. I have a Good Conduct Medal from the United States Department of Defense for doing the right thing when they sent me on Operation Civil Guardian in Europe. I
So-
received a Good Conduct Medal. So let me just say
the
something.
the most educated
Yes.
amongst all of the candidates
All of
in
this.
District 13.
Yes, I challenge anybody. Let me see you.
Educated more than the incumbent.
Yes, number one, he buy way down when it comes to education. He ain't can't sound himself. Yeah, because we know we're going to make law down there. You gotta know how to read and write properly. If you get good education, you stand firm. You'll be proud to speak to your man.
That's what he does in the legislature.
No, he does
or-
not say nothing. He made zero according to the last report. Please do your research. He made zero. Like his other brother to next door to us, the two of them made zero. They did not even tell people say hello, sir. Proper hello, not also hello or party hello, not hello. But to stay among your men, to speak about something, gentlemen, there's a concern I have about this issue to say. And now what we're going there for? If you can't say anything, then why are you there? Depending on small money to go share around, but everything tell the woman that will go to us.
You're listening to Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia, 104.1 Morovia, Voice of Liberia, 89.7 Kakatamagibi County. You can also follow us on our online radio, www.voiceofliberiaradio.com, Facebook with keywords Voice of Liberia. Just put in the search box Voice of Liberia, and then you will see the blue logo. Put in the search box Voice of Liberia and in from Voice of Liberia, all in capital letter VOL, and you will see the blue logo, and then you log in. Let's turn to you now. What about the question you got for my guest this afternoon, Solomon Chipo, representative candidate, District 13, Maserado County, with 14 days to go to the elections. 0770 907 907 0880 907 907. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Mike Dennis. I come from New Jersey office.
Let's hear you, Mike.
Yeah, I want because there are issue people waiting our community. There's a climate that you go to any community. If not, it's not the people you go to go. Current bank is your job. That is a cabinet measure. So I want to know what you have seen current bank with plastic of job.
Okay.
Taking care of.
All right. He will answer that. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, brother Labria.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Frank, not the mental doctor, and I'm calling from Pakistan, November 13. I want to ask people a very simple question because it's going to go through the most educated candidate in the race. I want people to outlet their credentials because we have a lot of public credentials on the paper. We are checkmate all. Most of it are all fake. Because you get one degree
Good afternoon. 0770-907-907, Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Your name and where you phoning in from?
I'm Jay Cannon calling for district number 13.
Let's hear your
Yeah,
question.
we actually all man in studio there. I listened to him say everything he said he can do it. So please just remind him that the school that you were invited as guest speaker, Trumpet of Faith Baptist School and Jamaica Road Pastor Town. He promised the rising class 50,000 LD and the instructor 25,000 LD. They said that the children that walk to the place, the class have been working there. In fact, the children gone along with them. Saying that he are not paying, and he said that when he get there, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Saying that he's been preparing for the process for 4 second years. Saying that somebody there you can't get no tangible in the district.
Okay, Chief.
So this one we say
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Let's hear you. Your name and where
My
you
name is Ross Jr. I'm calling from Chocolate City of the Pishar.
You said the name again?
Ross Peter Jr. I'm calling from Ghana, Peter Pishar Chocolate City community.
Let's hear you, Peter.
Yeah, I want to say a big thanks to you guys firstly and long live to the powerful lawmaker incoming Honorable Solomon Chico, preparing ourselves to take into the hall in our seat. He spoke very brilliantly in our studio. And all those who are calling, I want to say thanks to the students that are making it afford because they are not checking in records, but they're just saying all kind of things that they don't follow the records as. I want to say that God bless Solomon Chico, and I pray that Solomon Chico today, people see him to be the best person, and forever he will be the best person because one of the things Solomon Chico is doing in our district, the certain lawmaker, abnormal lawmaker that in our district, never do such things. He not even know the aim for both of. He not even know his standpoint. He not even know recognition of.
Okay, Chief. Good afternoon. Go straight to the point. Ask your question so the guests can have ample time to respond. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Daniel Kinema.
Your name?
My name is Daniel Kinema.
Daniel. Let's hear you, Daniel.
Yeah, let me appreciate the lawmaker in the speaker for you. A good job that you've been doing for the district. You know, that district is a very, very disaster in that district. That lawmaker in that district have to be replaced. Because any corner you pass in that district there is a drug dealer. And most of these drug places that you see down there is people attached into it. So we are calling on the lawmaker, you know, the current lawmaker, which is to defend on our eyes. But at the same time, the new lawmaker, which is Honorable Solomon Chico, is doing tremendously good job in the district, and he's going to be reelected in that district on October 10th. Both Honorable Solomon Chico, number one on the list. I appreciate his work, and will continue to support him in that district.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Lower your radio. Lower your radio. No, every one of you have your radios on. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
This is Fatu Dere calling from Patrick.
Let's hear you, Fatu.
All right, I want to say thank you to our incoming lawmaker. He spoke brilliantly, and also want to say thank you for the hard work he's carrying on in the district, the free vocational school. I'm here personally as our representative area, and we are not seeing nothing that he is doing because he just in here and feel like people.
You say, Fatu, you say you are the representative, you're the current representative, and you see nothing. Did you go there for something?
No, I'm saying I live around the person representative environment. But I'm encouraged for Honorable Solomon Chico engagement in the district, and I feel tempted to support him. I'm going to support him come October 10th because I feel like.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Lower your radio or move away from it, sir.
Hello?
I beg you. Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, I'm Joseph. I'm calling from Onion Patrick.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to say a big thanks to Honorable Solomon Chico for her achievement and her great work in improving our district. When it comes to the education standard, he proved to us that he's the most educated candidate with among the 17 because he's the only candidate to be corrected to having the biggest vocational schools in our district. And he offers so making computer literate and tailoring and most community. I'm so impressed. People from our community is benefiting. Right now, Liberia, we imparting knowledge. We are not looking for people that come in giving 1,000, 5,000, sharing it, and they are empty in the head.
All right,
So I
sir.
want to say thank you so much to people and come towards them. People, my heart, your family will vote for you and will make you eradicate that people on because I see. Thank you so very much.
Thank you ever so much too for calling. Have a nice day. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Thank God. I'm still missing on Lufa Panai, Lufa. The report of the statement is no one. It's the people. Let it give to him. Let it give to us so we can carry in Lufa. Let it power represented because he's very, very energetic and I know his potential.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
afternoon. 0770-107-907-907. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. My community the vice chair of the organization people and the market here. Let me say that I think to our political leader, Mr. Solomon Chico, for kind of powerful fire presentation. And so our business challenge and one Mr. Chico just told our candidate become the same thing with the exception of the current people that we have there. I represent all the business right. Because if following into politics, we got to go that we are not benefiting. It's further out there than our business bill all times.
Okay,
All
sir.
the time the president went there.
Okay, sir. The message is across. Mr. Chipo,
Yes.
you can respond, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much to all of the callers. Let me attack the first question I have to do with somebody asking whether I saw the current representative with drugs. I do not have to see the current representative with drugs first before I have an informed decision as to what side to take when people say that the current representative is involved in drug trafficking. But we all live in our community. We all live in District 13. Honorable Papi Flomo is the most accused person when it comes to the issue of drug trafficking in District 13. Honorable Papi Flomo's administration as representative, he has made no position clear on the issue as to whether he's for it or he's against it, or to speak against it. If you are against something or you are for something and you're in the district, you are the father of the district. If something bad happened there, you will not talk, you will have to say something. You will have to speak about it. You will have to talk and ask the authorities that are involved to make sure that that thing that is happening does not happen again. That's why we call representation. That's why we call representation. If you are representing people, you have to speak for them. When something bad happens, you have to inquire why this thing happened. On the issue of drug, the person we're talking about has not done anything. He has not sent one person to rehabilitation center. He has not made his position known as to what side he's on, and he has been the most accused person. And in his district, he has been the district where we have found 100 million in drugs. What has he said about that, or what has he done about that? Today, we hear that the people who were investigated to be the people that brought the drugs in the country, they are being free. He did not say a word whether he was against it or he was satisfied. Come on, anybody with common sense will know if you for something, you will not say anything. If you're not for it, then we know what happens. So if somebody is the most accused person on the issue of drugs in District 13, of course, I have a right to believe it or not. And that's why I'm saying I believe that most of the things that are happening that have to do with drugs, he knows about it. It is my belief. I don't have to see him holding it around. If you catch a certain representative going around with drugs, do you know what can happen to that person? That person can faint when investigating the legislature. When you catch somebody who is a certain representative with drugs, the person who will catch them, that DA person, what can happen to them is when they invite them to the house, that person can faint. I don't want to faint. So I don't wish you to see him with the drug. But I know that District 13 has been the only direction, the only place, the center of attraction, where every time when we talk anything about drug, it's District 13 that comes. The most accused person is the sitting representative from there. The same District 13, 100 million of drug was formed. The same District 13, people were investigated and they pointed fingers to that direction. So it's up to you. You have a right to believe in what you want to believe in. I have a right to believe in what I want to believe in. So that's my answer to that. On the issue of credentials, somebody will ask him, say, "Oh, Mr. Chipo, say he's the most educated person." So how? Mr. Chipo has a bachelor degree from the AME University, bachelor degree in public administration, minoring political science. And I had the opportunity to travel to the United States. And I served in the military, and I used the scholarship that they have for military people in the United States. And I got my first degree in criminal justice, second degree in public administration, and the third degree in homeland security. Those are all master programs. So it's up to you in Liberia, where when somebody says they are something and people can dig on you, I'm not going to make myself shame for that. So it's well established. You can go ahead and do your digging and do what you want to do. You're not going to find anything. So that's that on that. On the issue of the class my brother talked about, he said there was a class where we spoke and we said we're going to give the class some money. Well, as far as I'm concerned, due follow up has not been made by those students. Somebody came from there and said they want to collect money. I'm not giving money to one person. I informed the leadership that when we are ready to provide any commitment, we want to do it in the presence of the entire class. They have the listing. They know who all graduated from that class. Because I'm somebody who would like to talk. I don't just go give money and move from there and don't say anything. I have something that I want to tell them. I'm the only one that have an office or sitting office. I have a company in District 13. I am not running away. If I make a commitment, I am not running away. You have to make a follow up and you have to work with me so that we can get it done the way that we need to get it done. I am not giving money to one person. I am not giving money to one person to take it and go, and the other people will come to me. In our country, I have experience about that. When you make a commitment and two person can you give it, other people say they didn't get anything without making it and they didn't get up. It's not going to happen to me. I am using this time to call upon the graduating class to come together under the president to pay a visit to my office so we can sit down in the presence of everybody. The thing that has to do, I will do it. Let's be clear. You see people that we are talking about, some of them are giving scholarships. Some of them they graduated from our 89 students that we put in our last graduation. Some of these people that you're talking about that came from that school, they graduated, they attended my vocational school. They have graduated from there from computer literacy or soap making class. Also, on the issue of education, in Basseltown community and Bilema community, I have close to almost $180,000 in scholarship there. We're still fighting to pay some of that money there to that school. So we have been trying. Remember, this money that I'm using is not 30K. I am just one man. But the point here is if I say something, I try my best to do it. So the way we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it the right way. No two person gonna come to me to collect money for whole group. I want to see the entire group to come, and anything that I get to give, I will give it. I think that's all the caution to the other callers. Most of them were commending me, so I just want to say a big thank you to them. Thank you for being fair and being able to see the reality of what we are trying to do with limited resources that we have. We don't have all, but we are struggling. By the end of the day, good will prevail over evil. If what I'm trying to do in this 13 is intended for good, then God will continue to bless us. If anything that anybody they're trying to do is going against the very people that elected them into office, then let's see whether God will allow evil to trump over good.
Let's have your parting comment. And in before you say that, it is my understanding that a debate is going to go into your district. No doubt you'll be there.
The debate occurred already from
Oh,
OKFM.
okay. Yeah, and you were there.
I was present and they tried to attack us again because
And
I
you
told them
monopo-
I monopolized
You monopolized the
And I won
debate?
the debate. I told him.
Why did you monopolize it?
Well, because the point here is what I said, what I spoke is what the people wanted to hear. I talked about the issue of drugs and in front of the face of the current representative. And I told the current representative that if it is true that you are involved in this after October 10th, when we take over, you need to pack your
You
bags.
told him?
Yes.
And
that turned into
it turned into what?
it turned into people got angry. Some people got angry, and some people were defending us. So, but at the end of the day,
So you attacked him head on with that?
head on, face to face. That's what I do. When I meet
Was
president,
it ethical?
it is. Well, it was a debate. We were interacting face to face. You can ask me a question. I ask you a question. You can make a comment, and I'll make a comment.
But that was an accusation that this man has infested the district with drugs.
Yeah, and he's a sitting lawmaker, and I told him that if it is true, the investigation will go on when I take over. And if you are involved into that, you pack your bags and leave District 13.
Let's have your parting comment.
Yeah, big thank you to all of our supporters for making our September 16 launching successful. We saw the Orange family came out in District 13, and as we are going towards the election, it is my hope that we all will remain peaceful and we all will remain constructive. We disagree to agree. You don't have to support this person candidate. The person don't have to support your candidate. You can talk about it. You can argue about it. But you don't need to get into a fight because at the end of the day, it is up to you to vote for the right person so that your future can be secure. You don't want to be complaining again for another 6 years because you follow party mandate. We are saying the Team Chipo in District 13, we have said to all of our supporters who are members of the CDC, they are members of the United Party, they are members of the ANC, and members of many other political parties because we are independent candidates. On the issue of presidency, you vote for who you want to vote for president. On the issue of senator, vote for who you want to vote for. I ask how much people, I'm not telling anybody not to vote for this president and not to vote for that president. I know the president that I will vote for when the time comes, so I'm not asking any of my supporters to pick a particular president. Because trust me, if you pick the wrong one, Solomon people will be representing District 13 and will tackle that president to do the right thing. So it doesn't matter to me. I will be there to do the job.
Thank you ever so much, sir, for coming in. I appreciate it. I look forward to talking more as the issues unfold.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us in.
And this is how we go home on the show. My guest this afternoon, Solomon Chipo, District 13 Representative candidate, very buoyant of winning the district seat on October 10th or beyond October 10th. We're back tomorrow with another discussion, if God permits. My name is Sam Andrews, and that is how we go.